Am I filming this voiceover the night before this video goes live? Maybe. Maybe. This is not normal for me, or at least it didn't used to be, but I feel like for the past couple videos I've been doing a lot of voiceovers last minute. I could argue that I was procrastinating because my voice sounds terrible right now, and it does. It really does. I'm currently sick yet again. This is the second time in like 2 weeks. I'm kind of struggle bussing right now, I'm not gonna lie, but we're gonna have a great plan with me anyway. If my voice is really annoying because I am congested, I totally understand. You can mute the video and just watch the art, that's totally fine. But if you don't mind listening to me talk, we're going to be talking about some really cool art today and I'm really excited about it. So I hope you are too. Now I'm going to be doing my art on a separate sheet of paper, and if you are not new to this channel, you know that means I am using alcohol markers. I talk about this all the time. I'm not going to talk about it much in this video, but if you want a tutorial about alcohol markers, I have multiple videos on my channel as well as a Hoo-Hoo's channel. Ironically, I work with them a lot talking about techniques for alcohol markers, so go do your thing over there. Now, I would say that I usually do my drawings, at least more recently, on a sketchbook paper instead, because I find that thicker paper is better at absorbing the ink of alcohol markers. I had problems before using sticker paper, which if I didn't say, I guess is what I'm using right now, because sticker paper isn't thick enough to absorb all of the marker, and so when the journal closes and stays closed for a while, sometimes the marker will seep onto the opposite side of the page in the journal because it isn't absorbed by the paper. This is a problem that's happened to me in the past, which is why I switched to using sketchbook paper instead. However, for this particular design, if you can't already tell, it is almost perfectly symmetrical, and we'll see whenever I put this in my journal, but when the journal closes, it's going to fold and completely cover itself on the other side. So it literally doesn't matter if the ink goes onto the other side of the paper or not, because the other side is also the same piece of art. It's making no sense right now, I don't think, but in the video later you'll see why I don't really mind that it's going to be like this. And I wanted a thinner paper to be able to fold in half. Again, I'm kind of speaking ahead of myself because you guys don't understand if you aren't seeing the vision that I have in my head quite yet until the end of the video, but I'm using sticker for that particular reason, and I'll switch back to a thicker paper the next time I use alcohol markers in my bullet journal. Now I'm drawing a carousel. Don't ask me why. I decided I wanted to draw a hot pink carousel with lots of details and filigree and horses, not only one but 6, and horses are not easy to draw. I don't know why this was like something that's been in my head for like a good while, but for the past like 4 to 6 weeks I've been thinking I'm going to save this carousel idea for May. I don't know why, but sometimes you just gotta listen to your gut, you know, and my gut said carousel for May, and honestly, I'm not mad about it. I think it turned out really, really cute. If you were here last year, I think I did another hot pink theme, ironically. Maybe hot pink is just what I associate with the month of May, I don't know, but instead of doing like a punk rock girl like we did last year with hot pink, this time I'm kind of going more princess girly pop route with hot pink and purple and lots of stars and hearts and bows and flowers and filigree and banners and things decorating this carousel. Now, if you're wondering, yes, it took me forever to sketch this, and I used a ruler as best as I could, but I did not fold the paper in half and trace the other side like by putting the I'm making no sense. I didn't trace this image, nor did I fold the picture in half and do one side and try to make the other side symmetrical, if that makes any sense. I literally just eyeballed it. Using a ruler, mind you, lots of measuring, lots of erasing, but yeah, I only have the paper folded in half to indicate where it will fold in the journal crease. I didn't use it to like sketch on both sides because although the drawing is almost perfectly symmetrical, there are differences. I mean, the horses are all facing the same way, so it's not perfect mirror image on either side, you know? And the stars are placed different, the flowers on the poles holding the horses are placed different. It's not perfectly symmetrical, but it's pretty close, and I'm not gonna lie, when it's all done, it's kind of satisfying to look at because if you squint, you can't see the things that are slightly off center, you know what I mean? Now, I will put a couple of inspiration pictures here on the screen that I used for drawing this. I kind of just took a bunch of images that I saw and combined my favorite elements. Like one picture, maybe it was the blue one, had a really nice top of the carousel that I wanted to copy, and then some of them had better horses than others. Some of them I liked the shape of the pole in the middle better. Things like that. I am not opposed to just finding a reference picture and literally drawing the exact same thing. Trust me, I've done it before. But in a situation like this, I wanted my carousel to be perfectly personalized for me, and I wanted to have all of the parts that I liked and nothing that I didn't like. So that's why we're just completely changing the things that I want to make in my carousel, and that's just what it is. I'm feeling very girly pop, like sparkly princess with this, but I'm not mad about it, you know? I'm not mad about it. I was never the girl when I was younger, like when I was 11, 12, in my childhood bedroom. I was never like the pink sparkle pony princess girl. I had a teal bedroom. A lot of my furniture in my bedroom actually currently at my childhood home is still painted teal, and I have stripes on my wall, and there was like a purple and blue quilt. So I was more of like a teal blue kind of person. My sister was the pink one, if you had to be like which sister was blue, which sister was pink, you know what I'm saying? But sometimes I think it's really fun to lean into this like really overly girly, like in your face screaming like pretty princess aesthetic. I don't believe I've ever done this in a bullet journal theme before, but I'm not regretting it at all. It's so much fun, and I think it's so cool to look back on this even like days after filming. Is it a little crazy? Yeah. Is it a little goofy? Yeah. But like, what about it? It's cool. I like it. And my favorite part of watching this time lapse is watching the shadows come into play. So I was using about 3 different shades of pink and 2 different shades of purple to create all of the colors here. And for a while you've just been seeing matte colors as I decide like where I'm gonna put all the colors and make sure there's enough white space to also add some contrast with the horses and with the white at the top, things like that. But as I start adding shadows in on the ground, on the tent, like at the very top, the canopy, under the cover of the carousel and the pole in the middle, I think the shadows just bring everything to light. If you like go back 20 seconds and then like scroll and see the shadows just slowly start to pop up, it's so deliciously satisfying to look at. It's my favorite part of watching my own time lapses, is seeing the shadows and stuff. It's so cool. Part of me thinks I may want to go and add more color in the horses, specifically maybe color their manes pink and purple because they are very, very white, but I'm not too mad about it. I think the carousel itself is just so pink and so neon and such a big statement that the horses being plain white aren't that bad. And they do have, I think, pink saddles and stuff, so there is some color there. I don't know, I can always go back and add more, but for now, this is what I'm going to stick with. Took a sip of water, so maybe my voice will be more rejuvenized. We'll have to see. I'm trying my best out here, y'all. But anyway, it's time to cut out this big image. And I was doing something experimental here, and that was rounded corners. So I'm trying to make these as even as possible, even though I'm literally just eyeballing. And then I said, oh my gosh, genius, fold the paper in half on the crease you've already made and try doing that. So then I did that, and I do think it looks good seeing them. Actually, wait, did I even do that? I don't even know if I did. I'm like looking back at the video and I'm like, girl, did you even use the folded in half part? I think I did at the very end. Anyway, whatever I'm trying to do is I'm trying to make these rounded corners around the carousel, not to trace exactly because specifically where the stars are, they're different on either side. Yeah, there we go. Now I'm going to be doing the rounded corners with it folded in half, but I'm basically trying to make this as symmetrical as possible, even though the image itself isn't perfectly symmetrical. And now I'm taking that middle crease in the center, and this is where I'm showing you guys that I needed the crease to prove where the center was going to be. It's because I'm going to be laying this picture over both sides of the spread. The drawing may not seem that big before, but once I put this in my journal, you can see that it literally covers almost the entire page. And I did that on purpose because I'm going to be using this drawing as inspiration for a Dutch door. Yeah, but real quick, before talking about the Dutch door, this is why I used sticker paper, because it's so much easier to do this like fold in half thing and make sure that the paper isn't that bulky when you're using thinner paper and also paper that quickly adheres itself to the page of the journal. If I had used sketchbook paper, I feel like it would have been very bulky to have that double layer of paper within the journal, and also because it is perfectly symmetrical, it won't matter if the ink goes on the other page because, like you can see, it literally covers itself. Now, moving into that Dutch door I was talking about just a minute ago. So I did this off camera because I did actually film this video over the course of 2 days, which is why you might be able to detect a lighting difference. The second day was much sunnier than the first day, but I cut around the edge of the right side of the spread that had the carousel drawing on it, and then I made a Dutch door on 2 different spreads. So basically I cut the first page with the picture, then I cut the next page in the exact same shape, and now I have these 2 flaps that kind of close, and inside the flaps we have these 2 weekly spreads, and on the very front cover we have our carousel drawing. It almost reminds me of a storybook. It just opens backwards a little bit, but I mean, the storybook idea kind of fits into the carousel pony 12-year-old girl aesthetic. And also, just to point out, just because you like pretty pink carousel things does not mean you have to be a 12-year-old girl. I retract that statement. Actually, I take that back. You can like pink pony club. You can like pink sparkly horse things and not be 12. I'm sorry about that. My bad. But anyway, so yeah, we have weekly spreads over here. And you're gonna be a little annoyed with me with this. I know, I'm sorry, but I'm only doing weekly spreads in this setup. And here's why, okay? May is the last month of my spring semester. Thank goodness. I'm ready to be out of here. I'm ready to be free. And actually my last day in the dorm is, I think, exactly May 15th. So there's one more week of classes, there's one more week of finals, and then I'm done. I'm free, I'm going home. Not that I hate it here, but I'm just like honestly very ready for this semester to be over. I need a break. I'm ready for summer. So I was just thinking, like, I don't really need an academic planner because I just have a couple things left to do in the semester, which I could put in a weekly spread. And then I was like, well, I haven't used a health tracker or an expenses tracker in a couple months. And I'm always catching up my habit trackers later than I need to be. And if I'm making the weekly spreads ahead of time, that I don't need a calendar spread because the weekly spread is already there. I was like, you know what? Let's just make things easier on myself. Forget every other spread. Let's just make a couple of weekly spreads and call it good. Am I being a little lazy? Yeah, maybe. Yeah, maybe. And is it a little repetitive to watch me draw the same box with these triangle banners on them 16 times? Maybe. And I do apologize for that. However, number one, it's my channel, so you kind of signed up to be here. And number two, it's satisfying. And number three, it's easy for me. This is what I need. And a bullet journal is all about personalizing it to your own needs, your own schedule, whatever that month looks like for you is what you need to make the spreads for, not what is supposed, quote, supposed to be in your spreads, if that makes sense. So for me, all I need this month is a couple of weekly spreads. And I only did 16 days, 8 days on the first weekly, 8 days on the next weekly, because I am leaving Dallas on the 15th and I'm not quite sure what the rest of my month is going to look like yet. So if it gets super busy and I need another weekly spread, I will very easily just cut another Dutch store and make another weekly spread. Not hard at all. But if I don't need another weekly spread, I can just stick with these two while my college season finishes for this spring semester. And then over the summer, I can just go without a couple weekly spreads for the rest of May. You know, we will just kind of roll with it, go with the flow, see what happens. I'm cool with that. Honestly, recently I have become a lot more lax with my bullet journal. I have been using it a little bit less and just being okay with not having perfect spreads made all the time. And you know, is that amazing? Maybe not if I have a, YouTube channel to keep up with, but I will just say that it is a little refreshing not having to be so stressful about making perfect spreads every single week, not having to make, for example, like a YouTube short about my weekly spread every single week. I'm just using what works for me and what I need and not trying to waste time doing anything extra, because the amount of things on my schedule right now, besties, I don't have time. I don't have time to be doing anything extra that I don't actually need. And for this setup, I needed 2 weekly spreads and that's it. Now, on the topic of not overworking myself, I do just want to let you guys know there is not going to be a new video next week, and I'm sorry, but I just didn't have too many things going on this weekend to film. And honestly, really honestly, since at the end of the video, I think we could talk a little candidly about this. I have been thinking potentially about cutting back the amount that I post on this channel just a little bit. I'm still gonna be posting at the very least 2 videos a month, but with my busy schedule, I'm going back and forth on how much effort I want to put into this channel compared to my other channel, my book channel, which is called Sophie Jo. If you don't follow her, go follow her. It's so much fun over there. And I've been really, really enjoying making reading vlogs and spending my time doing that. And so I'm going back and forth on where I'm gonna put the most of my time. I'm still gonna be active on here, don't you worry. I will still be making videos and stuff like that. You'll have setups, you'll have unboxings. It's still a fun time over here, don't worry. But I'm just trying to let you guys know ahead of time that you might see just a little less from me over here and a little more on my book channel, okay? With that being said, this is the final flip through, a pretty short one because it's just a couple spreads, but I'm really, really happy with this carousel. I think it just stands out and I'm super excited about this neon pink. I think it looks sick, y'all. I really do. Do subscribe. We have some fun videos coming in just a couple weeks. I already have my next video planned and it's going to be so much fun. And thank you for sticking around with my very annoying voice today. I do apologize, but we're hopefully going to recover soon, crossing our fingers. I love you so, so much. Have an amazing May and I will see you in the next one.